Mr. X with the Extreme channel here, really excited for a lot of reasons. Number one, we're going to do an unboxing, maybe an assembly, we'll see how that goes, and review. Two, I have a quarter scale Darth Vader here, and it's not a statue, it's a toy. It's a toy, a figurine, a doll, but I think it might be the best quarter scale Vader ever. Let's find out, shall we? Mr. X with the Extreme channel here, and we are doing an unboxing and review of Hot Toys' newest quarter scale Darth Vader statue. So let's go ahead and get rolling. So standard shipper box like they do on some of their larger Hot Toys pieces. They have a handle. I don't own too many Hot Toys anymore. I think I only have RoboCop, Ed 209, which I'm selling, and then the vehicles, the DeLorean, what else besides the DeLorean? The Batmobiles, the 89 Batmobile and the Tumbler. I think that's all the Hot Toys I have. I do have that 1/6 Jabba the Hutt, but that is actually made by Sideshow Collectibles. And you know, I don't know how many, I'm not a big Hot Toys guy anymore, that's how I got into collecting, but I don't know how many quarter scale Hot Toys pieces are actually out there. I know recently they did Heath Ledger Joker and Christian Bale Batman. So here is the art box, pretty cool. Typically I don't look at these, so the Vader here and the quarter scale symbol are outdented. Would that be the right word? They're pushed out. And yeah, it has a lot of facts all over it. The middle slides out. You have this extra wrapper right here. Tape. If you're a die-hard Hot Toys guy and that's why you're joining my channel, if you've already figured out I don't know a lot about Hot Toys, I am mainly into statues. So let's be careful with this guy. But I ordered him on an impulse, and then I saw him in person at New York Comic Con, and he looked phenomenal. I was super excited, and that was actually less than 3 weeks ago, so. Pretty cool box. Right on the inside here. Unmasked version of Anakin. And oh, there it is. Can you feel it? I can feel it. So let's pull him out. That's what she said. This is a big toy. A lot of foam on the padding. The packaging is extremely nice. I guess Hot Toys always was. I kind of forget that. Here is the second layer. Looks like we have a number of things. A lot of the props and accessories. This guy has like 30 switch out hands and 3 or 4 portraits. It's crazy. Maybe not 30 switch out hands, but a lot. Let's pull this guy out. Tons of batteries, my goodness. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 small watch type batteries. Oh, wait, there's more than that. Wow. Take this apart slowly. I know if I ever have to resell it, you Hot Toys people are very particular, and I mean that as a compliment. So let's start out here. We have, I think this is the upper base. He has a lower base and an upper base. Pretty cool. Symbol, Empire symbol, I believe that is on the front. And here you have your connectors where the power source probably comes into play. Then you have this base right here, which you can display them just on that if you would like. Man, I wonder if this has directions. This has so much stuff going on. I don't even know what this guy is right here. It's a red semi-see-through resin triangle. We got the classic Vader saber. We have a case for the saber, for storage I would assume. Here is the batteries that I referred to. I think what we're going to do, we're going to unbox everything right now. Here is, I don't know what the hell this is. I assume it's something with the base, like that. We'll figure that out later. And then does this go on top? No? I don't know. We'll figure that out. But I think we'll unbox everything now, and then I'll take a picture of all the contents, and then I'll probably put it together off camera and review it for you guys. Here is his head stand, or portrait stand. I really like that because if you display him unmasked, you could put his masked version right here. And I think that's everything in this layer, minus all of his hands. Look at that crazy stuff. Should have taken some pictures. So I will remember it. I'll have to rewatch this video someday. All right, so we got his hands, his portrait stand, his higher base, little thing, I don't know what that is, the lower base, the red triangle, lightsaber case, and batteries. So, now let's get out the man of the hour. Well, first let's get out all the little crap. So here are some, I don't even know what you guys call these. They're the joints where the hands or feet connect. Some spare ones of those. We have his unmasked portrait. Looks pretty good. Just looking at it, it looks really good actually. Woo, slid out. I'm excited, I told you. And let's pull this guy out. That's a funny pose for him, huh? So you got a couple things going on. You do have some sealant protecting his cape, or his back really, protecting his chest, protecting his shoes, and then you have some foam protecting his helmet. So we'll put that right there. And I believe that is it. All right, so I'm going to unwrap this stuff. I'll show you a picture of everything, and then I'll assemble it, and we'll start the review. All right, Mr. X is back, and now I'm reminded why I don't buy Hot Toys. That seriously probably took me an hour between getting pictures of all the different switch outs and getting the batteries in, the tiny batteries that people with big hands have issues with, and making sure everything works, which it didn't. Yeah, pain in the ass. It does look really good, but I'm not going to buy another Hot Toys, that's for damn sure. So let's jump right in. This is Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi, or Episode 6. And it is a quarter scale, meaning he's 1/4 the size of what he would be in real life. So let's actually measure him really quick. And I got to be careful because I'm horrible at posing pieces. He's just under 19 inches tall. So if you do the math on that, that's 76 inches, which is 6'4", which Darth Vader is. Man, that was fast. I'm on it today. And of course he has this other bases that we're going to talk about. $575. It is made by Hot Toys. You can get it at a whole bunch of different places. Sideshow is where I purchased mine from. And there is a collector's and an exclusive version. I don't think Hot Toys does an actual edition size, so I don't know how many of these they made. The difference between the two collectors and exclusive is $15, where the exclusive costs $575, the collectors cost $560, and for that you get this little headstand. Here's a picture right here. So I purchased him because I have the Iron Studios quarter scale Vader, which I think is overscaled. I have him with all my Siths. I have the Darth Vader Mythos from Sideshow, which is 1/5, so that's too small. So I was hoping this is scaled perfectly, and it is. So this is going with my villain movie collection. I'm going to keep the Iron Studios with the Siths in the other room. This guy's going right over there, so if you saw the room tour, I believe Iron Studios Vader was in here at the time, because I'm actually selling Mythos. Posting that video next week. But really, really excited. As I said in the beginning, I saw him at New York Comic Con and he looks fantastic. The one thing I'm not a fan of is you have to pose him yourself, and I am not good with this shit. I almost want to break it when I'm trying to get it in the right position or switch out the arms. And there's almost too many different options to display him with, which is kind of about the concept and design, which we'll jump into right now. One really cool thing with Hot Toys is you have tons of display options. And I actually had to watch a few other videos to see where certain things go. For example, one thing I was kind of disappointed about, and I may be naive for believing this, but on Sideshow's website, they have a picture of him levitating a lightsaber. Check this out. And it even says in the description, switch out force hand. So I figured maybe they use a negative magnet or something of that nature, because it's not that hard to make things float. That's not the case. So I was a little bit disappointed, but there are tons of other switch out options, and we're going to start right at the bottom. So right here, you have the base, and it is a very large base, and you can actually two bases stacked on each other. Or if you want, you can just use the bottom base right here, which I know a lot of people are digging that part, and I'm not, for a reason we're going to talk about in a second. Or I actually found it, you could just use the upper half of the base, and it's not as stable, however, it lets you balance him a lot easier. And the other cool thing about this upper half of the base is it has a neat light up feature. And there's some cool display in here that we'll go into with paint and sculpt. Now also on Vader himself, he has some light up features, particularly on his chest. He has his two boxes on his waist and his chest plate right here. And then each of them have switches. The two boxes are pretty easy to get to, and the chest plate is you have to take off to turn on, that light up. As you see here, my right chest plate on his right side is not lighting up. The switch is broken, so I'm gonna have to contact Sideshow about that. That was kind of frustrating. However, I will never use the light up feature. Also with Vader, you have a lot of options for his cape. You can kind of do the formal Vader where it's draped over his shoulders like this. Or you can move him behind his shoulder pads almost in a walking or action mode. Now with his arms, he has so many different switch outs. That's why I have them in front of me. Usually I don't have the accessories, but I'll forget them all if I don't. So let's start off. First of all, he can hold his lightsaber with his right arm. His lightsaber is a pretty tight fit, and the lightsaber also lights up, kind of a cool feature. And you can put his lightsaber in his left arm, and they also have a blade that looks like it's moving. I think this is a neat option. I don't think I'll ever display it. I do plan on displaying the lightsaber, and of course the blade lights up as well because the light is in the hilt. Then you can do the classic Vader holding his belt pose, which I like this option, but to be honest, I will never use it, but it's cool to have. Then another one with his left arm is one where he's using the force. So he may be lifting an object, lifting a person, crushing something. You can do it underhanded or overhanded. And then also, of course, with his left arm is the one I have displayed, the one where he holds up, you don't know the power of the dark side. In Rogue One, he used this as kind of a shield when he was lifting people up. This is probably for sure what I'm going to always do with the left hand, if not the one prior to this. Then with the right hand, again, you have quite a few different options. First is the finger pointing one, when he says you are a traitor and a part of the Rebel Alliance in the New Hope. Or of course, he could just be saying, hey, what's up, buddy? And then here's the one that is supposed to float, but it doesn't. You could technically make something float with this guy. And then right here, you actually have his hand cut off. And I think this is a really, really cool option. I will never display it though, because it doesn't really show his power. But this was actually one of the switch outs that made me want to buy him in the first place. And finally, with his right arm, he has the chokehold. which is how I have him displayed now. Definitely a cool option. And obviously, if you are not using the lightsaber, you have the hilt, and he has a little hook, so you can hold it right here. Crazy thing is, we're not even done with the switch outs yet. So let's dive to his helmet. So you can display him full Vader, the helmet, the mask, everything that's going on normally that you would expect. Or you can display him without the helmet, and you see his mask, tons of cool detail, and then right behind it you can see his open head. Now what's interesting is they actually have a blank face for you to put in there when you're displaying with his mask. Look at this blank face, kind of freaky actually. Or of course you can display him unmasked, unhelmeted. And we'll talk about this in Paint and Sculpt. I think it's done really well. I think there's one, actually let's talk about it now. I don't like his expression. It's boring. He's not in pain, he's not mad, he's not happy. I don't dig the expression. I think that's a miss with the concept. Now the other option you have is whatever head you are not displaying up there, you can display down here. Now initially I was planning on displaying his helmeted version, his masked version down here because, you know, it's kind of sitting by the side like it is when he's in his chambers. But I'm such a non-fan of the expression of this face. He doesn't look badass, he doesn't look evil, he doesn't look Vader. I can't display this on his head. And I typically don't like having a secondary display, but here's a close-up of it right now. And one cool feature they did add is it actually lights up. And this is, again, is the exclusive. So I think they did a great job. One of the things people are complaining about the design is how high this secondary base is. And I don't understand why people are upset about it. I guess they're not upset, but first of all, you don't have to use it. It is optional. Second of all, I'm going to enjoy it because now I can put him at the back of the display because there's about 4 or 5 characters in front of him, so you can easily see him without him being covered up. So I'm a huge fan of this. I don't like the nameplate. As you guys know, I don't like nameplates, which is why I'm probably only going to display the top part. But yeah, so cool options. I think the concept, the design is neat. It's your classic Hot Toys. So you have the ball and hinges to put in the hands, which is always a pain in the ass. But very excited so far. Let's dive into the paint and sculpt and mixed media, which is kind of a weird thing to say because there's not really a lot of sculpt to him. And honestly, there's not a lot of paint. Most of what he has on is mixed media. And you expect that with Vader. And I'll just tell you guys right now, it looks really good. I think this is definitely a contender for the best quarter scale Vader out there if you can get the poses right. That's kind of key. Where you guys know I mostly collect statues, it's kind of a pain in the ass, like the Iron Studios Darth Vader. Here's a picture I didn't show earlier. I don't like the pose. I did it first, but I don't like the fact his arms are, ugh. So, but let's dive into the, let's start at the base. So first of all, here I'm just showing the upper base. The bottom base is kind of boring. It's just a grate that you saw earlier. But I like some of the extra, the metallic parts they put in here, the lights, to really make it look different, kind of cool. Reminds me a little bit of Cloud City and Empire, which obviously this is from Return of the Jedi. So it could be in the Emperor's chamber where they're having that fight at. And then starting at his boots here, classic Vader boots. Not really a lot to write home about. I mean, it's Vader and it's his boots. And he has these huge shin guards, very shiny, very metallic, and he's very clean in this, by the way. So he hasn't seen any battle, which you remember in Empire, Return of the Jedi. He seemed decently clean. And then moving up the classic striped, what I call leather Vader pants, and his chastity belt. He doesn't have any package at all, which most Hot Toys pieces don't, and who knows if this was chopped off because he's more machine than man now, which would be crazy if he was machine right there. Let's take a close look at his control boxes here. I have some scratches on my intercom or belt buckle in the middle, which I'm not a fan of. And they look really good. I mean, they're plastic and lightweight, but they look pretty good. So I got to give him props on that. And the same thing for his chest plate, especially when it lights up. Really, really cool feature. I hate the design, how you have to take it off to turn it on. Fantastic job on his gloves, no matter which one you're looking at. This is Sculpt. It's not mixed media. I love the folds. I love the color is perfect. It's classic Vader gloves. The gloves are too big on him, especially around his wrists, but not his fingers, just like in the movie. Very movie accurate. And then you see his chest plate. Again, very shiny like his shin pads. And then he has the shoulder pads actually move a little bit, so it makes them easy to pose, which that was a smart move by them. I don't know how mobile James, or not James, Earl Jones, he was the voice, but how mobile he was when he was putting this on. And then let's take a look at the Vader mask. First with the helmet. The helmet, shiny, fantastically done. You can actually see a reflection in it. And the mask, the one thing about the mask, it's a little uneven just like it is in the movie, but there's some detail in the mouth guard and the eyes. Even down around the neck, a little bit different color, which his mask is different colors in the movie. And then let's take his helmet off, take a look at that. So again, tons more detail, a lot of circuitry going to the top, and again, a different color that his mask is. Some golds, and looks really, really cool. All on the forehead and the temples, and then the top. And then one really cool feature too, take a look at the back where everything straps in. I love this texture that's on there. And again, some more circuits and badassery. And then look at the back of his head here. I love his scars, very movie accurate. It looks real. Great paint, great sculpt to his head here. And then even on the sides, it definitely shows his age. Great sculpt on his ears. And then take a look at his face here. Awesome job on his eyes. They look real. They're glistening. The paint job is spectacular. Very great movie likeness as well. So I give them a lot of props for that. Around his mouth, his lips pursed. And then you see the circuitry for his voice box and everything down there. Done really well. And lastly, let's look at his cape. So his cape is not posable. There's no wires, but it doesn't need to be because he's not flowing in the wind or anything like that. This great looking material, looks just like the movie. I think it's the perfect length. It's about a 1/4 of an inch longer than his, or about 1/2 an inch, so probably 2 inches longer than he is. And you can actually pull his chain out in the front from underneath his neck, or you can keep it underneath his neck just like in the movies. So I think I'm definitely going to change his pose. Going to keep his fist right here and then get a lightsaber of some type. Darth Vader has to have his lightsaber. Such a cool piece though, especially for the price point. It's essentially a 1/4 scale piece and all those different options. Obviously it's not made of polystone or anything like that, but in the end we got to remember this is a doll, this is a toy, and I just bought a $575 doll. It happens. But let me know your thoughts on this guy. Let me know if you think everyone kind of thinks that the Iron Studios is the best Vader on the market right now. Does he surpass it, yes or no? And if you've seen the Iron Studios in person, it's pretty impressive. But like I said, I think the overscale just kind of kills it a little bit. If this is your first time visiting the channel, hey, please hit that subscribe. Please hit the bell and the like. It helps the channel. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching Star Wars Episode 16. This is the 16th piece we've reviewed. And until next time, take care.